Yo.
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 We've been doing this for 1 year, and we instantly realized we also have to watch Flames hockey when they're losing.
Walker dude.
Walker dude! You should trust the Daryl Sutter process.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Puck and Stuff podcast. Your host T-Dog, your host B-Dog, and today we'll bring you some great talking points about the Calgary Flames and much, much more. B-Dog, how you doing today, good sir?
I mean, I'm doing pretty all right. Welcome to December. We're officially 2 months into the NHL league. And as you can tell by the Christmas tree, it is the season of joy and jolly and happy holidays for everyone around the world. And who watch this. La 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 la. And also, one thing we could also take away from this, since it's December, World Juniors are right around the corner too. So I'm super excited for that. But I guess
that's true. I get to bring out the Team Canada jersey for once.
Yeah.
I've maybe worn it twice.
Maybe twice.
I have an excuse for it.
Exactly. But I guess since this is Flames talk, I guess we'll roll right into it with how the last few games has went. Last time we talked about this team was against the Dallas Stars, where we came on top and came back as apparently this season we are literally comeback kids again, which is weird. 4-3 in OT against the Dallas Stars. And then we just kept on rolling from there. T-Dog, how do you feel in the last few games with the Calgary Flames since the last time we talked about them? Because they've been performing a little bit better.
Well, you guys are welcome, because I went to that Stars game. So, yeah, that's why they won. They've looked much better. That Vegas game, I want to kind of track back before it too, but that Vegas game as well. Good statement win, I'd say, because you're beating the top team in the league for one, and two, like Zadorov has an outstanding game. The team actually was playing for each other, and it was a full game effort. You saw that with Dallas too. The whole time in Dallas, you felt that they were going to win. They were down a few times and stuff, but you felt like they were going to, and they did. And won an OT. That was an anomaly that I haven't seen in a long time. So nice to see that an overtime went our way. Great win though. Was pretty solid as well. Markstrom looked good too. Then you move right over to the Saturday game. That was against the Canucks. So we lose 4-3, but I want to say watching this game, we stuck in with this Canucks team that is high offense scoring. The kind of the weirdness about this game was the whole Zadorov trade, him, going over to the blue team, which we will get into later. But I thought that we looked like we were in the game, but do we deserve to win it? I never felt that way. But if you want to talk about a bad game, Minnesota, that Minnesota game, awful. Just a terrible, piss poor effort in all honesty. You get a little bit of jump from Solovyov. That looked nice, and that makes me feel good, because when you lose a player like Zadorov, you hope that a young player like Solovyov can somewhat fill those shoes. Not entirely, because it's kind of hard for a guy who's been in the AHL for so long to fill in a number 5 defenseman or number 6 defenseman role that quick. Looks better, looks much better, looks more comfortable in his position. That game kind of showed me that. That game sucked. It was a bit of a write-off. And then go to Carolina. The first 2 periods, so I never got to watch the first 2 periods. Lucky me, because I was busy working and stuff. So I got to watch the third period. Smart of me to do that. But I watched the replay, and the first 2 periods did not look good. Carolina did have something to prove, though, because they got absolutely smacked by the Oilers the days prior to that game.
Yeah. And
they needed to kind of prove to Rod the Bod that they don't want to start doing bench PRs before a game and get their pectoralis majors all sore, for the upcoming game there. But that third period shows what this team has, and this is what we lacked last season: resiliency. This team is resilient, and I got to respect it. I don't know if it's from the coach, from Huska being able to motivate the boys to get going, or is that the team internally through leadership is pushing each other to kind of take that extra step when they're down. And a game like that is awesome. Now, you come back, you win the game 3-2. Great. Wolf plays outstanding, and I can't wait to get to talk to him as well because 930 save percentage. Can't wait. The second coming of Kippersoff. I'm so excited for that. But at the end of the day, looking better. However, still a few things you have to fix. Number one for me, what you have to fix: stop letting in the first goal each game. Trailing behind is not a recipe for success, and you will not make the playoffs for that. Like, should we be looking for a playoff push? Probably shouldn't. But if you're going to, don't be letting in the first 2 goals every time. Number 2, your power play sucks.
Yep.
Savard, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know. You maybe got to change some stuff out there. Not looking good. I think we missed Toffoli in that sense. And number 3, turnovers have been better, but I think
They're still bad.
They're
still bad.
You can still fix it all. I thought maybe with Zadorov you'd do a little better, but as much as I love Uyghur, he gives the puck away a few times, right? So there's some commonalities in that. But ultimately, yeah, that's what I gotta say. Enough of me ranting. I need to hear what you gotta say there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, so again, if I go back to the Vegas game, I think we really saw Vladar have a really good game against Vegas. And I think that's what he kind of needed. And it was a great win against one of the top teams in our division, like Vegas right now. So that was really nice to see. We go on to Dallas. Dallas was a little bit of a back and forth. And again, every time we verse Dallas, it's going to be a good game. Markstrom came back and he had a great game. And we took the win in OT. The one thing I can take away from all of this so far with everything going with the Flames is we can win after 60 minutes now. That's one thing I can take away from this season compared to last season, because if you're a Flames fan and you were here last year, you didn't want the Flames to go into after 60 minutes because you knew we were probably going to lose. So
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. 9 times out of 10, right? So then we move on to Vancouver and Minnesota. Vancouver, I mean, we were in a fight with Vancouver, but I felt like both teams weren't playing great that game. So it was still kind of ugly. Elias Lindholm wasn't playing great that game. And then he popped in 2 goals, which was funny enough. Then we find out Markstrom breaks his freaking finger. And now we got Vladar and we got Dustin Wolf for Minnesota. Vladar lets in 2 goals in like 2 minutes after the second period, and we throw Wolf in. Wolf let in a couple goals that weren't pretty, but weren't realistically his fault, and we lose 5-2 to a team that's going on a hot streak after firing their head coach. So then we move on to Carolina, and you finally start Dustin Wolf over Vladar, which I thought was the smart move because I'm like, well, you got a promising young goaltender in Wolf. Might as well give him a full start to see how he does against a team like Carolina that is known to be a top contender in the East. He plays great. A 933 save percentage against a team like Carolina. It's a very, very promising start for Wolf. But again, we go back to this conversation now. You have Wolf probably starting in the next couple games. And if he plays the way he does, he deserves a spot, doesn't he? Especially when Markstrom comes back. And then you go back to that conversation. Out of the 3 goalies, how do you mix and match this up? Because what? You're going to throw Vladar in one more time. If he sucks again, then that just proves he's gone. Like, I'm curious Calgary's situation here, because based on how Wolf's performance has been so far, again, I haven't gone to the Devils game yet, haven't seen him do that yet, but just based off of Carolina, and he had a very impressive game, don't you think he deserves a potential spot if he continues that for the rest of the few games Markstrom's injured?
Well, I agree with you. I'm gonna have to play as much as I love Wolf. I'm a big Wolf guy. Biggest fan here. Biggest fan. I'm actually the guy at the game with the mask on, just jumping around.
You're
me.
the Kippy Kid 2.0.
It's me. Sure. Can't believe it, boys.
He's all grown
up. How can I afford those tickets? Don't know, man. In mysterious ways. Now, I'm gonna play advocate just because I agree with the sentiment of a small sample size. 4 games, and he only started 2, right? So That to me, you gotta give a little more time to really make that decision. And just because the NHL season is an 82 game season, so 4 games, you can't say much. Because if we said 4 games, then Kadri was a top 10 player in the league last season when he played really well for the first like 10 games in the season, then stopped, right? It is getting to that point though. What does Wolf have to prove in the AHL? He has nothing to prove. Buddy's won goalie of the year twice.
An
Every time he
MVP.
goes and wins a game, he's 10-3. Every time he wins a game, it's like an outstanding like 9-10 plus save percentage. Some crazy thing. Did you also, side note, do you see the way he tracks the puck?
Oh, it's insane.
Fantastic. Dude, the dude's got eyes of an eagle, man.
You know what's kind of crazy too about him?
He's
So
a
they were
literal
saying
wolf,
this,
man.
they were saying this on the radio, and since he's only like 5'10", is he? I can't believe he's like 5'11".
He's supposed to be 6 foot on the dot, but honest to goodness, he might be the same height as you, bro, which is
Yeah.
actually crazy.
Which is
The thing.
that's crazy.
That's so small for a goalie, yeah.
That's
But, I
very
mean,
small.
you're a tall guy, but
I
like
mean, 6'6", it's average.
yeah, you're a tall guy, but like that's crazy that like that's like small. I mean, hey, that's why the Saros comparisons are a thing.
Yeah,
That's for that
exactly.
exact
And
reason.
I think also with that, you can also add, since he's such a small goalie compared to what Markstrom is, as he's a 6'3" goaltender, he doesn't have to see above the player when he's getting screened. He looks underneath them when he's getting screened. That's insane.
It almost reminds me of Quick a little bit. Now
Yeah.
that I think about it, Quick is very much like that. I'm gonna have to watch a Quick game the next time the Rangers play.
Oh my god.
Or they put Quick in because Shesty gets the bulk of the games, but that kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Yeah, he plays very low, but it helps him. He's got a great glove and everything.
Oh
yeah. Point being was small sample size. You have to do something soon. If trade deadline, you think that you're gonna have to ship off like Vladar soon. You could ship off Markstrom. I was saying this idea where I prefer a Vladar Wolf tandem in the sense that it helps with the youngfulness and that kind of retool that you probably prefer, because a team would probably pay a bit for Markstrom, but you're gonna retain salary. A lot of stuff to go into that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
I mean, yeah, very true. But I think since he is coming off a great start against Carolina, I think realistically, when you look at the schedule right now, we have the Devils, New Jersey Devils tomorrow. We got the Avalanche on Monday and Vegas again on Tuesday. I think you at least start him for 2 of those games. I think you start him for the Devils, you start him for Vegas, and maybe put Vladar back in for Colorado, because I'm assuming
back-to-backs. Okay, Colorado, Vegas, yeah. So you will get a back-to-back there. So yeah, you'll play like one of those games for sure.
Yeah, so I think honestly, if he starts tomorrow, give him the break for Monday against Colorado, and then I would maybe throw him in against Vegas or Minnesota. I would want to see him play a full game against Minnesota. And
definitely,
I really think you don't want to kind of stop a goaltender that's having a really good start. And he did prove it in Carolina. Carolina's a deadly team that a lot of other teams can't handle. But Wolf, as a rookie, I guess you could say, he kept his head on a swivel in this game, and I think he deserves another chance to start, or at least a couple more. Again, the only way you gain experience in this league is by playing. And obviously enough, since Markstrom's injured right now, you need to take advantage of letting this goalie get his experience by playing these games, because that will help you in the long run when you finally switch him over to starter, or even just switch him to backup. But again, I think the conversation goes back to which goalie do you really give up to be able to slot him in, because he's done everything he can in the AHL. He needs a promotion. So.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, play the hot hand. So he will, I'm guessing 85% chance he'll start the Devils game. And then, hey, depending on how the game goes, if he plays well, probably plays against Colorado, and then Vladar maybe takes, like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense, because you probably want to have Vladar play Vegas because of how he played against Vegas the game before.
Yeah.
And that can help his confidence get up, right? So you can kind of see that. But yeah, that being said, again, as we kind of recircle about that whole question about the whole goalie thing, I mean, it's great to have this problem, but yeah, I think it's time to really start going on finalizing the actual decision, like who's getting going. And I mean, maybe I guess, do you have till the trade deadline to make the decision? Probably, but
That's why I said
yeah.
realistically, it would be a decision to be made either by the deadline or you wait until next year. Because I think if you're the Flames and you don't have Dustin Wolf as a starter or a backup at least next year, what are you doing? He's going to leave like Matthew Phillips did, and you're just going to
Yeah,
enrage the fan base.
I would be. Whew.
I think I'm gonna have to switch teams, dude.
I
That would
I was
make me
gonna say
so
it won't
mad.
happen, but with the Murray Edwards ownership group, man,
Mm,
anything's possible.
literally.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think we should kind of switch around there to another big news headline for say in the Flames system there. Is Nikita Zadorov. He is no longer a part of the Calgary Flames, being traded to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for a 5th-round pick that was from the Anthony Beauvillier trade that Vancouver traded to Chicago for to get that 5th-round pick and Vancouver's 3rd-round pick. I want to hear your thoughts on this one.
okay. Well, so sadly enough, we finally got rid of Zadorov. So peace out to the big man. And he joins Tyler Myers as probably one of the tallest defenseman pairings in the NHL, which is hilarious because when you see
Canucks
Tyler
fans are gonna
Myers
have a
play,
heyday, bro. They're
when
gonna
you
have a
see
heyday.
Tyler,
They hate Myers. They hate Myers. Legit. They I've seen this in the comment section on like highlight videos. This grown guy's like, still hate Myers. I'm like, oh, you guys are all right. You guys are in for a treat for all
I
the
mean,
Zadorov
fair,
giveaways.
because when you have a big guy like Myers that is throwing the body at the wrong team and he doesn't really do much after that, that's fair. When we're actually looking at Zadorov, he's a big man. He can play physical with the puck. He's a defenseman who likes to carry the puck and then turn it over and then go receive the puck after and then turn it over. But then he tries one more time skating it up the ice. He almost turns it over, but then he finally breaks into a play. So I'm sorry.
Third time's the charm.
Third
That's what
time's the
they
charm
say.
with
And
Zadorov.
it's true when it comes with Zaddy Daddy. Is that what his nickname was? It's a little
Zaddy
sus,
Daddy.
it's all good.
Big Daddy Z.
Zaddy Z. Yeah, we can't say Big Z because that's already been taken by Zdeno Chara.
Exactly.
So.
But I think realistically, if I'm going to grade the trade, I think I think the Flames could have gone just a little bit more for Zadorov because yes, he is a third pairing defenseman, but he will still give you 70 games per season. That is the thing I take from Zadorov as yes, he is sometimes a liability on the ice by turning it over. And when he's creaming someone, it turns into a 2-on-1 the other way. But that is still a key piece, especially leadership wise. We kind of noticed at the beginning of the season, he was very vocal to the media and maybe vocal in the locker room. So that kind of showed that little bit of leadership. So I think a team like Vancouver right now kind of needs a player like that. And it wouldn't hurt for Vancouver right now. So
Yeah, well,
Vancouver, I guess, won the trade. We could have gotten more, but a 3rd and a 5th still doesn't hurt.
Vancouver needs a Zadorov. Carson Soucy's gone. Zadorov can fit into that role into that 4th or 5th spot on the defensive pairing. Yeah, I agree with you. We lost that one. Yeah, I thought we could have got a lot more, just because I think when I first heard the trade, I'm like, terrible. But I start to listen to Flames talk and things like that, and they make some good points. Of course, they're always going to be kind of pro the team because they get paid by the team. But like, he's on an expiring contract for one, and his agent, sorry, requested a trade. So with those two in hand, how much leverage does Conroy have? And I'm thinking back to to fully trade two, and it was a similar thing where there wasn't much leverage. I think Sharon Goetz has been looking good, so that makes the trade a little better. I think Conroy has taken 2 L's on his trades, but there's reasons for that. And especially in a cap type market, it's tough. I that's probably going to be a big topic of conversation for a few years to come. Not just with the Flint, but I would say for any team that has the same problems that Calgary has when it comes to the cap situation.
Yeah.
So now you get the third and the fourth. What are you going to get from that? Probably nothing. You might get another Rasmus Anderson, but chances are very slim. What that does open for you, and Conroy did talk about this when he was being interviewed, opens up a spot for a young player to come in, which is let's be real. He has been doing exactly what he's been saying, or what he said he would do at the start of the season, and bringing up young players and getting the team more youth. Is he wrong?
I can definitely agree on that point of, obviously it was kind of tough to get rid of Zadorov in the first place. I mean, I'm just happy I don't have to listen to or see the turnovers he does and see the 2-on-1s he gives up. But I think realistically what we got out of it was a few picks, a cap. We got rid of his contract, cap dump, nice, cleared up the cap space. And also the NHL, Gary Bettman did say the cap is going up by $4 million next year. So that's a really good sign to see. You're right. Conroy did do what we were asking, and to bring up some guys from the AHL, which obviously you look at Connor Zary. He's looking like a very, very promising playmaking rookie on this team right now, because I think in like 16 games, he has 13 points, if I'm correct. He's almost a point per game. And basically how I've been watching the last few games, he's the one starting the really good plays on the team and being crafty. And dude, the guy's got some soft hands. I love. He's got
12 and 16.
Yeah, like that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive for a rookie. And he's playing great. He's playing great with Kadri and Pospisil right now. And honestly, I like Pospisil right now just because of his physical aggression in the game. Like, he is the guy to go into the corner and just start crap. I watched the highlights with Solovyov, and he did get his first NHL points. So I got to give a lot of credit to him. He is looking like a really good two-way defenseman. He is on the third pairing. So personally, I would want to see him in a couple more games. But overall, he is doing what we asked of bringing up young guys. Like, even look at Wolf. He just started his third game yesterday and played great against Carolina. So he's doing exactly what he said he would. And to be honest, that's what you need from a GM. He's going to do what he says he needs to do. So that's a great thing to see. And one more thing